In this video, we're going to show you how to install a window regulator on your Honda Ridgeline located inside the driver's side front door. Now, right behind the door handle here, there's a little plastic cap. We're going to use a pocket screwdriver, and when you pull this open, you're going to access that plastic cap. Right on the very bottom of this cap, there's a little notch. Go ahead and try and pop that out. Here's a little notch right there that you're going to put your pocket screwdriver into. Go ahead and set that aside. Now right behind here, there should be a series of screws. Looks like we have two in here. We're using a 7mm and an extension with our ratchet. So it's just those two 7mm screws. The handle assembly itself will pull out. Now there's a cable unit right here, and it has a plastic retainer clip securing that there. We can use a pocket screwdriver. You can sometimes use your finger if you can get it in there, but you can just pry gently, and you're going to go sideways and pop that clip up. The cable end has a 90-degree end on it, so you're just going to gently pull that up and out and release that. And then the cable end snaps into the assembly, so you're simply going to grab it and pull it out evenly, like so. Right above the door panel in the front, we have a little sail panel. Now this is held in by a couple clips. You can use your fingers and get into the edge here. You can use a plastic trim tool, something like this here, and come in behind to assist, and just gently pull outward towards you. As that top pops out, you have two tabs on the bottom that just latch down into the front edge of the steel portion of the door. Go ahead and set that aside. There are 3 Phillips head screws located here. Use your Phillips head screwdriver to go ahead, loosen, and remove those. Set those screws aside. Inside the door handle pull area here, you're going to find a rubber mat. Simply use your pocket screwdriver. Go ahead and work that down between that rubber mat and work that up and out. Now that's going to expose a Phillips head screw down inside. Use your Phillips head screwdriver. Loosen and remove that. Remove that screw and set that aside. Next step is to pop off our door panel. Now it's held on by plastic retainer buttons around the perimeter, and sometimes when you pop those off, some of those can break and you might have to source some replacements. But in order to pop this off, just kind of reach down around the side here, and you're going to feel a gap between the door panel and the door shell itself. You can kind of rest a knee on the bottom of that door, kind of lean into it a little bit, and grab that door panel, put your fingers underneath the edge, and just gently tug towards you. You're going to hear the pins popping, and do this all the way around the perimeter. You're going to see that the door panel is floppy at this point. You know that all your clips are done. Move back up to the top, and we're going to lift up our door panel. We're going to lift it up and away. I'm going to take that door panel, we're going to rotate this. And you can see that we have some wire harnesses on the back side. Now on the bottom side is where the little lamp is. We're going to twist that counterclockwise and just remove that here. And you might find it easier to use a trim tool for this here. Simply get behind this little button, pop that right out. Now we have some other connectors down here on the bottom side of your power window switch unit. And it's hard to see on camera, but we'll show you once we pop these out. I'm just kind of supporting the door panel on my leg and pulling up against me to support that. Once you get those connectors undone, go ahead and set that door panel aside, and we'll show you what those connectors look like. Right here is that little spring clip. You can see that flexes in. On this large white one here, has one similar to it. And the same thing on this one here. Just a little tab right here. So you're going to push those in and pull on the connector itself, and those will pop right out. Now when we had removed our door panel itself, a couple of the plastic buttons had popped out of the door panel. So you can use a trim tool, and normally you can just get in here and kind of pop those out. When you pop those out, you can see it just has a little dome on it that snaps in. Now you can install these back on the door panel. I'm going to remove the rest of these had popped out. We'll install them on the door panel and prep that for installation for later on. So we want to go ahead and remove our water shield here, and on the top there's a plastic button here and there's one on the other side. I'm going to go ahead and use my trim tool. Just gently work that rubber button out. It just pops right out. Now there is an adhesive around here. Sometimes, in most cases, you can gently pull on this. You don't want to tear this if you can help it, but it is a resealable adhesive. So if you want to grab a razor blade, peel this back, and just gently just start to cut away at that adhesive. You want to be able to reuse this water shield. And if you do this and your adhesive is extremely weak and it will not adhere later on when you go to install it, you can simply use some tape, some heavy-duty super sticky tape. Now, in order to remove our window regulator, we do have to lower the glass down so we can gain access to the clamps that secure the glass to the regulator. In order to do this, we got to put the key in the on position, and we're going to temporarily reconnect our door panel switch here. So we can go ahead and lower the glass into position. So we just connected the large white rectangular connector. That's going to allow us to go ahead and move our glass. Now what we're going to do is we're going to lower this down so we can see the two 10mm bolts right through these two windows here. So we went ahead and lowered the glass until you can see the two 10mm bolts right through these windows here. At this point, we can disconnect the connector from our door panel and remove that again. Now we're going to go ahead and loosen these two 10mm bolts right here. You got to remove your bolts from the regulator bracket. Now we're going to go ahead and raise our glass and support the glass up into the door. Now you can use tape or you can use the glass suction cups as we have here. You just want to make sure that the glass does not fall down inside the door while you're working on it. Now right here is going to be the electrical connector for the power window regulator motor. You're going to reach around and there's going to be a tab on the opposite side. So you're going to pinch that, wiggle that connector off. Next, we're going to go ahead, loosen and or remove the series of 10mm bolts. These three I'm going to loosen. If you come up top, you can see that it's a slotted hole as well. Loosen. Down below here, loosen. And this one, remove. Loosen and remove this bolt right here. In order to remove our regulator from the slot here, we need to gain access. So we're just going to use our pocket screwdriver and pinch these little tabs and push these retainers in. And if you want to use your trim tool here to go ahead and release these. I'm going to pinch this little tab right here for this connector, get that out of the way. And reach around and pull this over. And basically just moving the regulator around in order to work those bolts out. Same thing with the motor over here. Now, at this point, do whatever you can to go ahead and get this regulator removed. There it is. Now here we have our replacement regulator, and we went ahead and swapped over the bolts that we needed to so we could drop this in and drop those into the slotted holes. This item here also has a pigtail for the connector. Still lines up and will connect just fine. So let's go ahead and install this. right, we have all of our bolts into all of our slots. We're going to start our other bolts here by hand. Now that we have them all started, let's go ahead and snug them down. Connect that unit. Now what we're going to do is, because we do have the pigtail and we don't want that to get caught in the window as it goes up and down, we're simply going to go ahead and bring this up. We're going to use some wire ties and anchor that right to that existing harness like so. Okay. I'm just using a wire tie here. Cut off the excess. Now at this point here, our new regulator where the glass attaches to it is not adjusted in the proper position. We need to bring that down. So we're going to go ahead and repeat the process we did before. Turn the key to the on position, plug this in, power this down, install the bolts, and we'll snug those down. With our regulator properly positioned, we can now remove our glass supports. With our glass lowered, we can grab our bolts. I'm going to put them in my socket, feed that in. I'm going to get those started a few threads. Make sure you get them both started before you tighten any of them down. And snug them down. Install the connector end. Put in your retainers. Everything is secured. Let's now install our water shield. I'm going to install our water shield. Going to feed the harness through the water shield. I'm going to install the grommet on the upper end here. And do one on the upper right. And it pretty much self-aligns the rest of this here. So I'm going to go ahead and stick on the water shield gasket here. Once again, if yours is no longer sticky, you can go ahead and simply use some tape, some good heavy-duty tape. I'm going to install our harnesses here. Rotate this a little bit. Get our light in the bottom of the door. I'm going to install our harnesses here. Rotate this a little bit. Get our light in the bottom of the door. Now we can rotate the door panel. I'm going to lift this up. So when we're doing this here, the upper sill plate needs to latch onto the top of the door panel itself. We also need to get our latch assembly to come through the hole here. So we're going to tilt the door panel in at the top, try and work this down. Seems like everything is lined up. Make sure that your cable for the handle itself is exposed. You don't want to seal up the door and not have that cable end ready to go. So go ahead and pull that out. There it is. Now go ahead and work your way around the perimeter. Snapping in all those plastic clips. Go ahead and give that door latch or lock mechanism a test. Make sure everything is good there. Install the screw into the door pull pocket. Snug that down good and tight. With that secure, go ahead and grab your little rubber pad here, drop that down inside. Go ahead and grab that cable end, feed it into the latch unit here, snap that over. Go ahead and install the green retainer into the handle, push that in. And this side here inserts first, and then push the handle into place. Just get one screw started there. Grab the other one. Once you get both of them started, we'll go ahead and snug those down. Now you have your little cover right here. The notch itself for that pocket screwdriver was at the bottom. It has two little tabs on the top. So when you pull this out and insert this, be sure to insert the top in first. And then push the lower in. Install the upper sill. You have two tabs here that need to latch into the pocket and the door here. Once those fit down inside, snap that in, and you're all set.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.